Yo, Crypto Nation and mining family, what is going on? What is going on? I see we got Crypto Bedell coming in hot and heavy with those FRs, followed up by that Wheeling Crypto. And Wheeling Crypto is already talking about a whole bunch of stuff. He's like, I'm going on Monday to pick up a $10,000 all-in-one PC monitor that is also a 75-inch and other TV doesn't work, Vizio, and another one that doesn't work. Oh, so you're picking up a hope that some of these things work. It's like hopefully you can get everything working on it, because that always helps, especially if you can sell some of that stuff. What is going on, Retro Mike? What's up? What's up? And I don't know what's going on with Mikhail. He's giving me that. Oh, okay.
I'm here.
There's no proof of Mikhail. We got sound, but no proof.
I'm here, man. I'm here. Once this kid gets out of the camera view.
Retro Mike Rito market cap is 64,000. Time to buy it all. It's like I'm having a staring contest with Mikkel. He's good. I know, he hasn't blinked once.
I'm the best. All right. We're gonna keep me back.
So, what is going on, Mikkel? Anything going on at the mining facility as of lately? Anything cool happening?
Just the usual cool stuff.
Nice.
Just the usual cool stuff,
Outside of a storm that'll take out rigs.
Yeah, that's per the usual. Per the territory.
Right.
But it was a quick one. It came in and it was just some high winds.
Right.
It wasn't nothing crazy.
And then we got it like not
high
too long
winds and
afterwards.
Small enough flicker. Just a small enough flicker to knock some things out. It wasn't even everything. A lot of the stuff came back, or some of the stuff didn't even go offline.
Yeah.
It was just enough that the whole power flickered.
It was enough to make things unhappy.
My house power flickered as well, so it was definitely it was 70 plus mile an hour wind gusts.
Jesus.
In some place, it was really windy, a little more than usual. Personal opinion.
Nice. Well, not nice that you had to go out there and reboot stuff, but at least it was nothing serious this time. At least we didn't pop a fuse,
Knock on
wood. We don't need to keep
things like that.
We don't need to be knocking fuses out. I think that stuff was just old stuff, and it was unhappy. And it was
they were really old. They were really old, and one of them had already looked like it had been being damaged for a while.
So I think we got all that out of the way. Now we just need to get contracts signed, move forward, and get power.
Facts. They do be facts, sir.
Yep. We just need to bite the bullet, move forward.
Yeah.
So, anywho.
Binance. Why is Binance doing?
Right. Man, have you seen any of the Max Sun GPUs coming out lately?
I have not.
Oh my God! So they have a 5-fan variant now.
I seen your stream title about it. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah. So there's Max Sun has a 5-fan GPU. It's kind of weird because it's got the standard 3-fan on the front, right? And on the very top of the card, in the very corners, when you're looking down from the top of the card, it looks like they've got a dual open end wrenches sitting on. It's just like an open end wrench just sitting on top, right, with the cutout, right. Until you realize it, that in the open end wrench section, that it's actually a fan.
Huh.
I don't understand what that purpose would be, to be just like blowing air up like that. It's not blowing on the back of the PCB. It's drawing air through the and you're talking like, I would say smaller than the HP fans. The HP server fans for the power supplies. It's smaller than that, dude.
You got a picture or anything?
Yeah. Actually, I think I pulled that up. Yes, I did. Let's see if I can do this. Gotta go like this. And then I can go like this, and then I can share screen, and it'll work perfectly now.
I kind of dig that, man.
Bam, just like that. So that's what I was saying. It looks like a wrench on top, but it's got the world's smallest fans sitting right at each end. Now, this was my thought. Okay, maybe with near the VGA core, maybe a little bit of fan speed, it cavitates some air sitting at the very end of it over there. Maybe it might help. I highly doubt it. But on the other side of the GPU, where the front fan is already blowing through the radiator, through the back plate, what's the purpose of that fan at the other end? I just don't see anything other than it's just gimmicky. I mean, that's just me. I mean, and when you're looking at it while this thing is like running, you don't even see it. So, I mean, like in this, that's why I didn't show this one right off the bat. This has the fans being on, so you don't even really see it in the cutout there at all. And and they nicknamed this one the Mega Gamer. Because it's got 5 fans, must make it, twice as better. If 3 fans is good, 5 fans is, double better, right? But it's like they've closed off the very end of this for the most part. So yes, I mean, like,
double the fans, the more better.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah. Always.
I was listening, but I had to walk away from the computer to drop the baby screen. Turn my computer screen back on.
So I mean,
I kind of dig it, but I mean, obviously
it's gimmicky. I think it's gimmicky, though.
My thoughts is maybe those fans that are the tiny fans aren't blowing in, but they're pulling out.
That's what I think too. Because I don't think they're blowing in.
Most cards now are sitting, like in like a riser bay, and they're standing upright. So fans like that would be beneficial because they would just blow to the top of the case. But
okay.
If
so
they're not,
here,
then they're just blowing into the case wall and doing physically nothing. So,
right. So here's my other thing for that small a fan. You're not talking like that. That's like the size of a fan that's for a Raspberry Pi. In order to get that fan to actually move a fart out of the way, those things are going to be screaming in your computer case. That's going to sound like a turbine jet going off if that thing gets fast enough spin to actually move air. You're going to hear this like this whine of fan of rotor washout. It's like, oh my Lord. People complain about their PC case tower fans being too loud. 2 little itty bitty fans that are enough to move air, whoa, I can't even imagine. So I can't see them putting very fast fans on there that have a lot of static pressure to be able to blow air out from the radiator effectively. So to me, my viewpoint, I think, is that it's gimmicky more than anything else. Like, you'd be able to unplug the fans, and it wouldn't make any lick of difference on the card. I mean, that's just my opinion on it, right? That's all it is, just my opinions. And then they also just...
I don't disagree completely. I think it's kind of, if they are like legit fans, they're almost physically pointless.
Yeah.
No matter the orientation.
Right. Now, what I was saying on my stream was that if you were to sit there and do what Zotac did with the 3090, they had a limited edition 3090 where they attached a single fan onto the back of it.
What's up, Cedric?
So for something like that, I would cooling down the PCB, which would mean you're cooling down the back of the VGA core, you're cooling down the memory modules, and the power rails. So, I mean, I see a better benefit from that orientation. But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're tiny fans, man. Yeah. Tiny fans equals loud.
Well, unless they're not spinning fast. I mean, your Raspberry Pis, they're not loud, but they also don't move a lot of air.
I mean, it depends on the fan too, because I mean, noctua fans that are that tiny do extremely well, but aren't as loud. But there are some of those exact same size fans that are like in, for instance, the HP power supplies, and they are loud as all get out. Like the 2400 watt power supplies, for instance, that we have at the farm, right? That we got in a bunch of those cases, which is mainly probably the best deal for what we got the cases for, was mainly all of the 2400 power supplies that we got.
Right.
Like so many of them, but they are so loud. They are probably majority of the noise at the farm, like 100%, is those little bitty fans inside of those specific power supplies. I've noticed they are really loud because I have one of those in my well house, and that is 90% of the noise, and I can hear it.
Oh yeah.
But you have like, you can turn on like it's kind of like the Ombulis power supply. It's that same pitch of just like, you're just like,
my ears are bleeding. Why?
Yeah. It's like great power supplies though.
Right.
I've definitely looked at thought about taking one apart and seeing if we can replace the fans on those to like
a Noctua,
quieter, just a quieter a Noctua. Yeah, like that'd be expensive, you know, probably for like as many as we have. But I'm sure there are other variants, and that is if they're not like directly wired in, because you'd have to cut and resolder wires, and then at that point, is it worth the time? But
on a small scale, on a small scale,
it's just a full like connector. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just slot in.
If it's on a very small scale,
thank you, Cedric.
You know, it's like if it's
not about crypto, I don't want to hear it.
Right. And then you also got this one. What's your plan B?
I've been watching bad stuff. Oh no, won't be doing that. At least don't say it out loud.
Right.
Now you're guilty because you said it out loud. I did get to spend the most of my morning / basically whole morning. I was actually talking with Osprey, and they were helping me like fully tune.
I caught that.
Man.
Yeah,
like, it was so fun. I didn't like stopped chit chatting with him until almost noon our time. Like, it was like almost all morning, just like
Damn. Because
went
you
with
couldn't get it to,
me
you
and
couldn't get it to do what it was supposed to do, right?
there was, I mean, it was hashing perfectly fine, but a little high on wattage, in my opinion. And we were just kind of chit chatting about it. And he was like, it could definitely be more efficient than what it is. So he was just like, do you have time to sit and mess with it? And I was like, yeah, I got time. So we just literally sat there and we went through each individual chip. And I mean, it's literally just like a lottery of like literally FPGAs and GPUs, you know what I mean? Like, no chip is the same. All three of the chips have a different frequency that they like really enjoy and like vibe in. And if you change it up, like they're all like lots of errors,
Right.
which equals like higher hash rates. But I think as of today, I fully shaved off like 40-ish watts
Not
and
bad.
gained a full gigahash. Like I'm at 15 gigahash, 15 and a half gigahashes right now for around 500 and about between 500 and 505 watts. Like killing it, like fully killing it. But it took me like literally almost the whole morning, like tuning it to get it to that point.
Damn. Because
Yeah,
I put your stream
it
on
was
and I was like
intense.
doing stuff around the house, so I was like catching part of what your
Cause
stream
he's
was
not
about.
the guy
You're
that
like, I
I
wish
chat
I
with.
could show you guys what I see here.
Yeah, I know, like because it shows DNA numbers and like
Right.
a lot of people show DNA numbers, and I'm really just not a fan of that because I've been in the FPGA world and I know it's just kind of a no-no zone for some people. So I usually don't show the DNA number of the machine.
Nope.
Because yeah, if you know, you know. If you don't ask.
Right.
I love you. But yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I'll have a video that I will work on like fully like how to tune it and like how to kind of go over tuning it and things like that coming out here soon, because our customer from Family Mine just got his other two came in, and so those are going to be deployed at the farm, and I'm going to have to tune those, so it'll be the perfect time to like make content about it, because
right.
I'll have to sit there and like physically do it all over. So I'll get to like do that, and yeah, and without having to undo the one that I've already done.
Right. Got
But
two
yeah, he
chances
sat there
to pull
and
video.
yeah, exactly, 2 chances to pull video. Even the boot records corrupt the level format. Corruption everywhere, new format and colon. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, traders. Yeah, it's been crazy over there, man. Wild. Yeah, so it was cool.
It's wild that you
like,
gained a whole gigahash off of it. I mean, that's
so I was sitting around like 13 to 14 gigahashes is where it was kind of like settled out and been sitting for a minute. But yeah, a full gigahash is what I went up with, like just kind of tuning it and getting like more in line.
gonna be able to call you Dr. Tunable, huh?
Yeah, man, I love that. And like, I wish I could show this. Yeah, best way to do this here.
Huh?
I wanted to like show this, but I can't show it without like doxing stuff. I'm trying not to.
Don't dox. Don't do it.
I'm trying not to.
Cedric, it's like these guys have sweet swag.
There you go. There's the increase.
Oh, wow.
Way like we're talking a whole nother world.
No kidding.
And we dropped some watts.
Winning 100%.
Like
right. Moon.
projected.
Moon.
100x.
Right.
Not
Not
financial advice. Not
right.
financial advice. But yeah, huge like jump, and that's Caspa. Caspa is what they're hatching on. Huge. 6.2 turbo diesel getting 25 miles per gallon. There you go, man.
And then did you see
I miss my turbo diesel.
Did you see the fucking that farm that Panda had posted about? A Cadena farm. Oh my lord! They had a whole shipping container full of Cadena ASICs.
Yep.
It's like if you wonder why you can't make money on Cadena, why you don't have any earnings in Cadena, it's because as a home miner you just lost. You cannot keep up with that.
I mean, you couldn't really mine it with GPUs. Yeah,
it's people who
is what the E300s are mining on. They can mine ETC as well. Soon they'll be able to mine Radiant and potentially Ergo.
And when all of those things get mineable on FPGAs, it's just a matter of what ASIC manufacturer is monetarily motivated to produce the ASIC for it.
Yep. Luckily, the benefit of having an FPGA is that you can move coins. You're just moving is very selective and limited.
Right. It's like, again, it's all about monetary incentives at that point. And, you know, the person who makes the bit stream are they monetarily motivated to make that development for it? Are they gonna, you know, do they see a reason to do it? And then what
I've not financial advice or any kind of advice whatsoever, but from the word of the grapevine that I've heard is that development for new ASICs right now is severely behind. From what I know. So like development for things like they were talking about, people were saying there'll be a development for a Caspa ASIC, and they probably will eventually. But right now development is so far behind, I don't know that they'll have enough time. By the time once like this Caspa has like a couple integrations coming in that will change like block times, the way the block times work, and transactions, how they interact. Once they add Rust in, that kind of changes a bit. It changes the algorithm a little bit. It doesn't change the way it works, but changes the way it talks. So a lot of things will have to be like redone, and ASICs would have to be like completely redone. FPGAs, you just have to fix a few lines of code because the thing's already there. They just have to rewrite how it's talking.
Right. It's what Ravencoin had found out whenever they were trying to get the FPGAs off the algorithm. They had to like completely change it to something else to ensure that they
doubled up. They doubled up. That was what they did. One's right now trading profitable back and forth. Nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
It's pretty much how it's been going on. I've been watching it. You know, it's like the only time I switch around a rig is if it's like a sizable difference in payout. You know, then I'll be like, oh, I'll change that one rig. That makes sense.
Sometimes just staying put almost makes more sense at times.
Yep.
Just roll the dice. Chasing profits sometimes can actually hurt you.
Yep.
One, you're pool hopping. That hurts the other, your pool shares, depending on your pool.
Yep.
But nothing is ultimately ASIC proof, right? Not entirely.
No.
But is it worth their time?
Right.
That's what makes it like ASIC proof. Is it worth their time? There's definitely tons of ASICs and like FPGA bit streams and things like that we don't even have access to or even know about. There's tons of stuff that are probably even out there that we'll just never see ever.
Right.
So who knows? I mean, there was even XMR and ASICs for a short amount of time. Were they ever seen to public daylight? No, they were not. They were never seen to public daylight. And by the time that the algorithm forked, you know where they went? Scrap. So, like, they were useless, so they just scrapped them and turned them into junk. E-waste at that point. So, therefore, you've never seen them because they went straight from mining in the dark to scrap pile.
Yeah.
There's no in-betweens for those.
And they didn't even make that many of them. I think it was like less than 200 of them ever got made.
So there wasn't a lot.
Yeah, I think it was just the initial test batch. So it was definitely under 200 units.
Yeah, there was also a Rito ASIC, yeah, X21S. T53 is $953. That's how much they cost. Integra guy. Don't buy it. It's not worth it. I love the TH53s. They're great FPGAs, man. And they don't require like anything extra. They just require external power. No riser. They don't even have like a by 16 like port. They're just an FPGA on a board powered by an 8 pin. Communicates through USB. That's it. But they want $950. I was talking with Sparkle, as they are now going by, which is a subsidy of toll. Anybody doesn't know that, toll actually does a lot of things. If you look on the back of your, if you own anything Sapphire, if you look on the back of your box, one of Sapphire's partners is Toll Industries. That's way too much. Yeah. $950, man. $950. I spoke to Richard last week or the week before. It was just way too much. Especially when they came out. When they first released them a few years ago, they were like $400-ish. So, like I said on Rabbit Stream, if you want to buy an FPGA, wait till there's no dollar profitable bit streams.
Right. Oh, the Cammy girl.
Worth it. We bought. I mean, we had bought in DCUs like 2 bear cycles ago. Yeah. And they were sub $1,000 like machines back then. Now you can't buy them for more than almost 2. Like, and they are old at this point. Like, if you're buying BCUs now, like, they are nowhere near new. Like, nowhere near new. They could be refurbished. You know, there are people that refurbish them. Toll refurbishes them. But they've been around for quite a while now.
Yeah. It blows my mind that for the pricings that they're going for right now, it's like,
dude, they maintain.
It'd be like value. Me trying to sell.
They maintain their value, but only during like a profitable.
It would be like me sitting there and going, "Oh, we're in a mining boom, so this RX or this R9 380 is now worth $500." It's like, get the out of here, dude.
I've seen BCUs go for like $450, like working condition. The cheapest one I've gotten a hold of was like what, $600? Was the cheapest?
I think so. I think that was the cheapest one we got. Yeah,
it was the cheapest one we've ever got, and that is.
And the two that I had were definitely used and abused.
And they're about $700 to $800.
Yeah, the ones that I had here, they were used and abused, and I had the coolers on there, so it's not that anything happened.
FPGA use VCU for sure. They're very resilient. Till they're not.
Yeah.
And when they're not, they go suicidal.
It's like your what was it? Your F1 or the Black Miner one.
Yeah, and Black Miner F1s will burn up their chips if you clock them. It was like 95 megahertz. If you went to 95 megahertz, you would burn up chip, and it would like literally smoke.
Yeah.
F1 mini, but not like not the big one.
Because your mini's dead, right?
Yeah, it's dead. Dead in the sense of like it boots up, but it never will load a bitstream ever. Never sees a pull. Nothing.
See, mine still works, dead. Or the one that the wife got still works, I should say. But there's just nothing really worth firing it up for.
Yeah, I even have an AGPF, which is another small form factor, but not really much. I broke a capacitor, but it's still up and hashing away. Yeah, a lot of them were able to still like function. If they didn't once they released the magic smoke, of course that's when they're like no good.
Mm-hmm. That be true.
Yeah. This is an AGPF. And it uses a Raspberry Pi Zero for a control board, which is why these things were so cool, because they're fully open source. Just can't find the schematics for these. I haven't found them yet anyway. As soon as I do find them, this is could be somewhat functional. Outside of their stuff.
Yeah, it's like that one that Helpful sent over here. I can't find any real schematics for it, so it's like I can't.
F1 Mini with its cooler that is way oversized, and probably not necessary at all anymore, because it's not even actually.
It's a relic.
Yep. It's a relic. Where it is. I think it's on the other side. Where it's
Techman, that's not entirely true on that one. So yes, the Intel A6 are real. Yes, you can buy them. Yes, I have been in contact with them. Yes, I had to pick my jaw off of my. I had to pick my jaw off the ground when they contacted me back. You can only buy 200 units, and or minimum order is 200.
Huge black thing.
And you're looking at
dark blue.
And you're looking at $500,000 US for a single order.
That's a lot, man.
So, but
I told them to apply for it, and you told me, and I said, they're smoking crack, man. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought they were, really efficient, but, really, if you actually, fully look at it, they're...
Yeah, they're really... They're not... They're no better than any of the other ones.
For a $500,000 investment for a product that you won't get right now, doesn't make sense.
No.
You could buy other ASICs and have them sooner and be recouping your ROI faster for dang near the same wattage.
Right. And
200
Cedric
units, that's really greedy. It really is.
No, because well, if you think about it, they're if you're going to be doing it,
for the fact that they're only selling it in units of that quantity, I think so. Yes,
because they're trying
and you can't just like willingly buy it too. Like you have to apply to buy it. So like
they're only wanting to sell it to data centers. These are data center and facility capable machines. They were not ever to be intended to be sold to the general public ever. So I mean.
They were only thinking big picture.
Yep. And does it cut some of the I almost sit there and put it into the same category as this is if their customer base that they are targeting is data centers. Data centers are used to sitting there, and if they implement a full server node from Intel, they're spending 1.1 and up, 1.1, $1.2 million and up, setting up a server blade that takes up, I don't know, maybe 15 feet wide, So you're talking what, three rack mounts, or three or four. Yeah, it looks so. So you're talking 3 or 4 rack mount server blades getting set up for $1 million plus. So if your customer is going to fork out $1 million plus, then sitting there at 200 minimum order quantity for a $500,000, that's really a small investment. Most places are going to do $1 million investment if they're contacting for them at that level. So it cuts out the little people. It isolates their market. I wish them the best of luck. It probably will work for be beneficial to them. They probably do not care. Because I believe Intel is so backed up too on their fab production too. So it's not like Intel can just bust out a whole bunch of these ASIC chips on demand. So like you've got to sit there and basically. So I mean, if I had to put my business head on about how they're looking at it, they probably have to stop a fab production run just to make a batch of these. And they're not going to make just one wafer for you. They're going to run enough to make it worth shutting down for the other things, because they've got to switch everything over to the ASIC side. And it's like at that point, they have a particular batch size that they'll run that they know will cover the cost of them shutting down for their standard products that they would be normally producing. So they've got to guarantee that minimum order is met, so that shutting down that fab facility for ASICs is even financially makes sense to them. If I had to take a thought, a business head on that one. I mean, it makes sense. They're not like Bitmain where they call up TSMC and go, "Hey, we need some more."
Right. You ready? Ready? Oh, get giggity, get giggity.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. Oh. 1.48.
Wow.
Yeah, a bunch of fluff stuff. But yeah.
Hey, you figured out how to cover up some information, huh?
Well, that's how I did it earlier, but I had to get this screen up. with like being able to add a cover information, delete information out of up here, and but yeah. So as you can see, like look, you can see the core is different between every single chip. Voltage is different between every single chip.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's just because you just have to literally sit there and play with each individual like chip. And once you start seeing like these errors right here, once it starts increasing over 1, you have to change it. Like 0.2 is okay because it'll fluctuate. I could still mess with this top one a little bit more because it's not within the region of like margin. But like you see, like right here, like chip 1, board 1, is like dialed in, like pretty set. Like it has 0 errors. Like it is not changed. So I have to like mess with it into a little bit into here, a little bit there. I mean, this one's at 0.01 now. I think it's like you said like 3-minute intervals is what it bases this off of. So like every 3 minutes, if it's throwing more invalid shares, it'll increase the errors.
Right.
Blind Brian, yeah, man. FA is catching up giggity hashes. Yeah, man. It's pretty cool. 15.48 gigahashes. About 505 watts or so. Well, I've kind of got it down to. I can still tune it a little bit better on board 1. But I just kind of gotta watch it a little bit, see where it's at, because I changed it earlier.
Up that one board's up 0.3, 0.33 now.
Yeah, that's the same one that I need to like kind of mess with. See, the other one's back down to 0. I think it's now doing okay. And it first margin of 3 minutes. So as long as it's never over 1, it's really not that big. But like this one doesn't even do the same amount of hash rate. It doesn't even do 5 gigahashes. It won't, without reaching over 1 and getting restart errors for that board. So that board is just not as efficient as the other two.
Right. That one got salvaged off of more of a damaged board.
The last board, or chip 2, FPGA 2, is probably the best out of all of them.
Right.
Because it's 0 errors for 5.29 hash rate. Then the top one could still be tuned a little bit more, and that's going to take away from its hash rate or give it more watts. Like that's kind of the give or take, is either giving it more watts and making it less efficient, or like giving it the hash rate at once, or you take away.
Right, that one could have like they could have had 2 repurposed ones and one off of a good working one that got repurposed.
From what I know, from what I understand, all of the E300s are new chips.
Okay.
From what I understand, the reball service that they do offer is mainly for people that have those boards and chips that have been kind of damaged, and a lot of people just kind of set them to the side and just didn't do anything with them. So that kind of just gives them a second life. But watch out for that on the other hand now, because now you have people
Cedric, take it easy.
Now you have people that are that are in Discords selling broken boards, but the chips may be broken, and they may just be saying that the boards are broken when really the chips are broke.
Right.
And you will not know that until you physically can like see it, because it'll be the hairliness of cracks.
Yep.
Like you won't notice it by a crappy phone camera. So they'll send it to you, and then you'll get it, and you could pay. I saw something the other day that he was selling, and he gave me like a full list of like different voltages of what was wrong before. So like I kind of believe that this guy knows what he's talking about because like he gave me like full description like what was going down. So I'm like kind of believe him. But he's charging really high price for the broken boards. Like they're still broken. Like don't overpay for broken boards.
Yeah.
Because you still got to pay for the reball service. That's an extra $450. So
right, I was picking them. I picked up a couple that the chips were cracked on. They said there was just bad boards for like $125. Both of them were both of them were cracked. He said one of them was and one of them wasn't. And it turned out that both of them
$450 to $480 for the broken boards. It's a lot right now.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And it's just because there's a service now to possibly fix them. And then like remember that there's still like an error ratio. Like you could pay to have it reballed and like it could still like not be successful.
Right.
That could totally happen. That can totally happen. Like it's not 100% certain. Like swap like could happen. Like it could. The fail ratio is probably higher than you would want it to be.
Yep.
To be completely honest.
Yep. But even I tried to sit there and send them out to get fixed and stuff, and he said that one of them just started like as he got it finally let its magic smoke out as he got it. The other one was so deep into the board itself. He's like I have a feeling that one's damaged too.
Thanks.
And I know I was hunting around on those boards getting some really funky voltages in spots, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. How is it I'm tracking it and I get such a nasty drop off of power out of nowhere? And that was the one that homeboy was like, that board's shorted internally. And I'm like, that makes sense. I had no idea what I was measuring. I mean, if you've never dealt with it before and you're like, this doesn't make sense of what I'm looking at. I don't see anything fried. And he's like, no, it's in between the layers. It's like,
yeah, you wouldn't have even noticed it looking at it.
No, yeah. Everything looked fine, and it was just like you measure from point to point to point, and then gone. You're like, where'd it go? You go to the last device,
gone.
And you're like, you go back to the last component, you remove it off the board, and you test it individually off the board, and you're like, it's testing good. And you put it back on the board, and you're like, and it's gone. It's like, what the?
I almost.
Right, and it's like I don't know where, I'm like sitting there going, I must be losing my trace path, and it must go somewhere else that I don't know about, because you'll see that where it'll hopscotch onto the other side of the board. I'm like, it must be I'm not measuring right. I didn't follow the pathway, and whenever he came back with that, I was like, now I'm not questioning myself. I don't feel stupid about what I was seeing.
Funny. So, topic of the video before we head out of here, guys. Or NFTs bad for Bitcoin. I want to know what your opinion is.
Absolutely.
You think it's bad for Bitcoin?
Oh, fuck yeah. It's
right now, if you actually have, so over this past week, DGods minted was 565, I think it was. DGods on the ordinal chain, right? Or on Bitcoin chain. It's not ordinal chain, but on Bitcoin, right? So what I've actually noticed is last week, the average size of blocks went up. Something that you don't normally see like happen in Bitcoin. Block size went up. Not size of Bitcoin. It's not the way that works. But the actual size of the block, like the capacity of the block.
Yeah,
actually
it was filled up
increased by about 66%, which was really interesting because that means more transactions could be added into the block. But they were being taken up by images, so it was just taking up more space.
and
But nonetheless,
you're paying for
it
every
was
one of
increasing the
those.
block size, which was interesting, like for like the situation that it was, right? So
I see it
I'm
as
interested to see what's about to happen because
I see it as a waste of resource for one.
yes,
Uh,
because the block size increased and most of it was basically JPEGs. It wasn't useful space, but the fact is that the space increased.
it's
And
only
that
because
does not
of
happen. You know what I mean?
it's
So,
only
like,
because of the execution of the style of contract. So as long as that execution of contract doesn't take place, the block size is normal. It's only to take up room of the extra bits.
What if now that they know that this style of contract, right? I'm digging a little bit further into contracts and stuff, but now that they can increase contract sizes and it increases block sizes, now theoretically, they can write a contract to allow bigger blocks from more transactions, not for JPEGs.
Now you're going into the big block.
They can utilize the contract.
Yeah, but now
that they know that it's happened.
Now you're going into that big block
transactions.
But you're talking about that big blocker debate. The more transactions,
slower block times.
So B trash. That's the whole, or Bitcoin Cash for anybody else. That's what the whole war was about. That's the big blockers. So they wanted to increase the block size. The problem that's going to happen with that is that you will outpace that 500 megabytes or 500 gigabytes worth of memory capacity for the node.
Right.
Before the last transmission of Bitcoin comes out. They would have to change over the node. And that is an undertaking at that point. So for efficiency of the blockchain, it is more efficient to figure out a higher level compression. So unless somebody can figure out,
it gets really deep, guys. Like that situation.
Right. So
this is unfolding.
It needs to be the solution to it is that the contract needs to have a higher level compression system built into it.
Right.
That's the issue. So
which can't be done on SHA-256.
It can be, and it
can be optimized, but it can't be increased per se to like sustain that all the time. But my main thing is that it increased block sizes without increasing the amount of Bitcoin created, unlike other situations for other chains and NFTs.
But it also increased
Ethereum.
It also increased
the gas size. It increased the gas size, but it didn't. But in the situation of like minting on stuff on like Ethereum and Polygon, or mainly it was Ethereum, because it was mineable. The amount of Ethereum in a block increased significally.
Yeah, so
that did not happen. Right.
So the Bitcoin,
that's where it piques my interest.
Bitcoin, it
stayed true to block sizes. More people got paid out per block. So technically, more people got paid less because there was more people having to solve a bigger block.
Yeah, I because of the way that it's not optimized on the Bitcoin, it's something that's kind of being
optimized whatsoever.
Because of the forcing of something like what Satoshi Nakamoto himself said. He said that the smart contracts will be there one day. They're not ready yet. Do not, at this point in the stage, I would not be encouraging the utilization of it. Does it mean Does it mean that the people shouldn't
I would increase the utilization? But now that it's there and they've opened the can of worms, now they can kind of like look at it and approach it differently. Because now they're like, oh, is it ready yet? Probably still not ready yet. But we know that the functionality is getting more complex and working.
But here's my thought.
This wouldn't have worked 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I mean? What just happened?
Here's a thought on it. Ethereum. It has an out of control memory issue.
I love that chat's talking about power supplies and
so
talking about Bitcoin edges.
Right? It's I do not believe
mainly the contracts that interest me the most.
I do not. It's like
on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think with the way that the contracts are writing out, they're just as inefficient as the Ethereum contracts being written out.
Ethereum contracts are pretty dang efficient. Now, not so much without proof of work. They were more efficient with proof of work.
Even then, no, because I'll say no on that one too. How quickly would they have outpaced, 8 gigabytes of RAM? How quickly would they have outpaced 24 gigabytes of RAM?
A lot. They have a scalability issue.
Yes, and they never solved that. So, and that is a drawback of the contract because they can't compress the contract into the block properly. Yeah. And it all draws back to what Satoshi Nakamoto himself said. He's like, it'll be there one day. It's not ready yet. It's not going to be ready. There's too many other protocols using smart contracts. They have a scalability issue.
Dude, come on, man.
If it wasn't for a scalability issue, if they can make a smart contract efficient on the blockchain, I'd be like, okay, I would say not to use it, but because it's efficient and it's not really disrupting what everybody else is doing around you, more power to you. But until we get to that point, it's like NFTs need to stay the hell off of Bitcoin. It's a waste of resources. You're paying huge money for security. Huge money for security.
I don't think they're paying enough money for that security. On Ethereum, the Ethereum for Bitcoin.
No, yeah. I'm talking Bitcoin side.
Since 2/2/2023 is when the first inscription happened on the ordinal chain. Up until now, only 95 Bitcoin has been paid in fees to date. Only
95 Bitcoin.
Okay.
That's a lot of fucking Bitcoin, dude.
Compared to the same amount of time and the amount of Ethereum that was provided in that same amount of time frame. You know what I mean?
It's because Ethereum was their blockchain's so inefficient that it costs more to move the stuff around. That's why that's why I never utilized Ethereum blockchain myself, was because I was like, my God, you're spending a lot to fucking use this stuff.
Here's Dune Analytics. But ordinal fees paid to date. I'm not going to turn bright mode on because it'll kill you.
It'll blind you.
There's 95.9226 since basically the 1st of February.
Right.
Total inscriptions, 500,000. The even breaks it down to ordinals by type. Application. There's been 30 inscriptions that include applications. Today. Text and images. Almost 10,000. Over 10,000 combined. That's crazy.
Yep. But it's like I would expect it to be a little bit more on Ethereum just because of the inefficiencies with inside of their own stuff anyway. So I mean,
how much
oh my god, yeah, that's a lot of money, bro.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they don't put commas
in
here.
$2.6 million.
Yep. 2,620,732
Like, I'm sorry, man. That's a life-changing event right there. But you know, Ethereum pays more in gas fees because, you know, they're trying to stop people from using the blockchain.
Knew just the other day. New gas fees were like they were fluctuating between 25 to 50 gwei. But for what? What was the purpose of that? And today they're down to like 10 to 15 and nothing's going on. No one's doing anything.
Yep. Just a whole bunch of wash trading.
Real. I thought ETH paid more in gas fees because of the dirty miners. No.
That was their lie that they sold all the retail users.
They sold all the dirty miners that they tried to sell. Because we questioned that on a call and then they care for that.
Nope.
They skirted the question every time.
Yep.
So then they paid miners too much.
And it was never the miners never set the gas fee.
Which is false.
We never set that gas fee. That gas fee is set by the users that are willing to ensure that they're paying whatever their transaction was in the next block.
Gas fees are low now, exactly due to notable payouts. Yeah, but then they still rise like from time to time, and they rise and they're very sporadic. There's almost no rhyme or reason to it. They just increase.
Because it'll increase when they're front running whales.
I miss the days where we could predict when the gas fees would be higher.
Yeah. Now it's all being predicted by what was it?
Only on Ethereum. You can still do this other places, but on Ethereum per se.
Well, Ethereum, it's all, you know, it's like there's that one bot farm that was
MEV bots.
Yeah, the MEV bots. Oh, good God. Person's just like 100 like texts to me. It's like, holy cow, I don't want to see like 5 photos of food, bro.
Sure you do.
Like, oh my lord.
5 photos of food.
He's an older guy. He lives by himself. And exactly, and it's like, oh my god.
Can't be mad at him.
He knows I stream
he just needs a friend.
He knows
I stream. Be that guy's friend.
He knows I stream. He knows the rules.
Real friends text friends while you're streaming.
Oh yeah. Right.
Right. Okay. Whatever you say, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Guys, any comments, questions? Now is your last chance. Roll up out of here. What?
What? What you confused about?
Could you being a real friend and texting while I'm streaming? I texted you back to my watch.
So I put my phone on.
I'm streaming.
I put my phone on mute this time. I'm like, oh god.
Okay.
There was just this series of bloop, 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 bloop. It's like, oh good god, no! He spam texted me.
My phone's on the charger. So I just happened to see it on my watch. I was like, what? You guys good on cat cable? Pretty much.
Yeah.
We buy it in the 1,000-foot spools.
Cheap
this
enough.
Guy doesn't mind being a mindless drone and cutting cable and wiring cable. It's actually one of my favorite things to do. To be honest. I'm a repetitive person.
Oh, dude, did you see the before we head out of here? Did you see the SK Hynix new NAND flash? 300 layer NAND flash. Oh,
For what?
Such storage. Such storage. So it's just NAND flash memory. Yeah, it's NAND flash memory. So the memory is expected to enter like mass production soon. SK Hynix is now looking even further into this. They're just trying to get the memory more dense, so that they can continue to push the limits of having a M.2 that has 10 terabytes on it and a little stick. So they're just going to be starting to push the envelopes on that NAND flash packages so that they can have faster PCIe 5 generation, looking at PCIe 6 generation. And going even beyond that. So it's like, what is it, 100 enabling 1 terabyte capacities at much higher densities, 20 gigabytes per square millimeter or micrometer, I mean, or it's either micrometer or millimeter, I'm not sure. Would have faster throughput than a 238 memory layer by 18%, reaching 194 megabytes per second transfers.
Huh.
It's like they're just like people want to say Moore's law is dead. They're about to I think they're about to sit there and really kind of come out with something that's like really unique. SK Hynix.
Later, Goblin. Have a good night, buddy.
So yeah, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I was just like kind of thumbing through some stuff. I was like, oh, that's right. I remember that. I was hearing rumors about this. They finally have a leak on it. So, all right. Well, we are definitely over that 1 hour marker, guys. So if you guys don't have any other comments or questions, we're gonna go ahead, head up out of here, guys. Definitely smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. If you would like to have your gear hosted at the Family Mine, guys, check out the Patreon links down below. I'd love to be able to have your guys' stuff hosted at the facility here. We will be getting power here soon at some point. More of it. We need it, like yesterday.
That's facts.
So hopefully we can get this ball rolling here and kind of go from there moving forward. That's all we can do.
Do be facts.
Right. And you got anything else? No? All right, then. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Peace out. Stay savage. And, of course, we'll see you on the next one. Yo.